Okay, so this problem, I'm doing number 14 because I know some people are going to look at it and be like, ah! See the fractions. So because it's solved, it says solve using the substitution method, but even if it hadn't told us, we can see it's set equal to y. These are both set equal to y, which means these are both equal to each other. So let's go ahead and do negative 6/5 x plus 50 equals negative 10/3 x plus 146. Okay? So first thing I'm thinking here, oh, I could go either way, but let's go ahead and multiply by the LCD so we can get rid of the fractions. So in this case, the LCD, again, remember it's the smallest number that 5 and 3 both go into. So in this one, it's going to be 15. Now remember with the LCD, we multiply every single term by this LCD. Okay, so 15. Now, if you don't want to do it this way, you totally don't have to. You can just deal with the fractions. This is just one way to do it. So we multiply this first one. The 5's cancel. I'll be left with 3 times negative 6, so negative 18x plus, and then I have 15 times 50 is 750 equals, when we times this, the 3's cancel, so we'll have 5 times negative 10x, or negative 50x, plus, this is where it's going to get big, 146 times 15 plus 2,190. So this is the part where you decide, is that really worth it? Maybe not, but we're going. Okay, we're going to get our x terms on the same side, so those cancel out. I'm going to get a 32x plus 750 equals 2,190. We'll subtract 750 from each side, so we're just solving it. We get, oh, that's always a nice sign. 1440 is one of those numbers, kind of a magic number, that is divisible by so many. So most likely, 32 will be going into it evenly. So 1440 divided by 32, sure enough, it does. So x will equal 45. Oops. That again. X equals 45, and then we can plug in the 45. We'll do it in that bottom equation since that's all that's showing on my screen. So we have y equals negative 10/3 times 45 plus 146. So let's make 45 over 1. We'll cross cancel. This is kind of what I was doing before. So 3 goes into both 3 and 45. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 45 15 times. So we get negative 10 times 50, or negative 150 plus 146, which is just going to equal negative 4. So we get y equals negative 4, x equaled 45. When we put this in as our answer, we'll want to make it 45 and negative 4. Now, how can we check and make sure that's the right answer? Do you remember? What you can do is, scoot this over a little bit. What we can do is substitute it into both equations and make sure it comes out true. But yeah, that one you could have either dealt with the fractions or got rid of them just like I did in this example. Okay, 15, we need 360 milliliters of a 65% alcohol solution. On hand, you have a 25% alcohol mixture and you have a 70% alcohol mixture. How much of each mixture will you need to add to obtain the desired solution? So first, what I would do is label my x and y. So I'll say, okay, x is going to be my 25% solution, and then y is going to be my 70% solution. Okay? So we're going to have to make a system of equations here. We know we need 360 milliliters total. So we're going to need some amount of that 25% and some amount of that 70%, and together those are going to add up to 360 milliliters. Now, this is kind of similar to some of those other mixed ones, so we're going to do 0.25 we want to do 25% times the x, but when we use a percent in math, we want to change it to a decimal when we're putting it into an equation. So we have 0.25x. We know we want 70% of however many y milliliters there are. So 0.70 times y equals 65%. So 0.65 times 360. Okay, so let's go ahead and simplify that. So we're going to get, oops, there we go. My mouse didn't want to move. We'll have still the x plus y equals 360, and then 0.25x plus 0.70y equals 234. Okay, so now we've set up our system. So just to refresh that, we got our x plus y equals 360. We know the total milliliters needs to add up to 360. And then to figure out the percentages, or I guess to take into account the percentages, we set up the second equation. So 25% times however many x milliliters, add that to 70% of however many y milliliters, and that will give us our total amount, 65% of the total milliliters, 360. Okay, so then at this point, we could multiply everything by 100, which I would probably do here. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Well, we're not going to. We're going to try it just doing, because I've done that on a couple others, let's just go ahead and try not doing it that way. I'm going to solve by the elimination method or addition method, and we're going to multiply this by negative 0.25 so that the x's will cancel. So let's go ahead and multiply that out. Remember that negative 0.25 has to multiply by every single term in that equation. So we'll get negative 0.25x minus 0.25y equals 360 times 0.25, which is 90. Worked out nicely. Negative 90. Okay, so we've got our equations. We've got our x values the same but opposite. Let's go ahead and cross this out so remember we're done with that. And then we'll add our equations together. So we have 0.25, 0.25 cancel. Here we're going to get 40.45y equals 234 minus 90, and we get 144. Okay, we'll divide both sides by 0.45. And we get 320. Now let's just look at this. If our final solution is going to be a 65% solution, I guess it does make sense that we'd have most of those milliliters, most of those 360 would be the 70% solution. So if it's 320 milliliters, we know they need to add up to 360, so we can see it'll be 40 milliliters of the 25% solution. Now you can check this, you can plug both of these in and check, but I'll leave that to you. But it's good, kind of make sure, does it make sense with the way it lines up? Okay, on this one, we're graphing. We have to graph each line. And so I'm going to leave this one to you. We've had a lot of practice graphing, but basically what you're going to do is just graph both lines, and you're going to see the point that they intersect. We'll pretend like it's at 1, 2. So make sure you do place the dot there using the dot tool down here, and then make sure you also put the solution. So if that was the right answer, which it's not, if it was, it would be amazing, but you would put the solution like that, okay? If there's no solution, you can enter does not exist. Infinite solutions, you can write infinite solutions, okay? So that's how to do that one. This one, I believe I did one like this at the very beginning. Okay, I think we have about covered this. On this number 28, try using that distance equals rate times time. This one will be set up a little bit differently, but you're still going to have 2 trips. You'll have a return trip, and the trip there, your miles, it looks like your distance. So I'm going to let you try to set that one up, but you will still use this table. Reach out if you're still feeling confused after watching these videos, and good luck.